Many of you were surprised at a point that I made in my last video on how Karmelo Anthony's family has actually costed Karmelo extra years in prison. So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info, so let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Karmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son Karmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Karmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend, and when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges and was in prison. Now, this is the man that Karmelo's mom chose to speak on Karmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Karmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Karmelo's case. Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Karmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Karmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf. The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Karmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that in a murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that parent to gauge how to react. Judges consciously and subconsciously look at the parent's facial expression when they're testifying on the witness stand. Prosecutors run all their plea offers through the parents. Reporters knock on the parents' doors for statements, and they aim their cameras at the parents when the verdicts drop. And the jurors, oh my goodness. The jurors hang on every word of the parents, notice every little movement, every gesture. In this case, Jeff Metcalf, the father, is not just a spectator in the case, he's the conscience of the entire community. If you win Jeff, you win all the sympathy. But if you alienate him, you can go to prison for life. Now, months ago, Jeff Metcalf, the father, he did something unthinkable. Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, "How do you feel about this Karmelo Anthony?" Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, "You know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already." Now, that is amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength to do that because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Karmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change. I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. You bring everyone together to get them on the same page and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Karmelo's mother heard what Jeff said about her son, what do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice. And at that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out. Like, can you believe it? They kicked Jeff Metcalf, who came there to pray. They kicked him out of the press conference. The entire spectacle went viral within an hour. And do you know what else? Karmelo Anthony's prison sentence was prolonged by 10 to 25 years within that same hour. Now, why do I say that? What did the family show Jeff in that instance? Jeff, the father. They showed Jeff that there was no remorse. They showed Jeff that there would be no mutual prayers. There would be no reconciliation. Showed that man nothing but hostility and aggression. The same hostility, the same aggression maybe that was at that track meet that fateful afternoon, that was under that tent. Some of you are not going to appreciate how important this father is. You just don't know how these criminal sentences work. I see your comments on YouTube and Twitter. You think, oh, this person killed that person, so put the killer in prison and throw away the key. Put him there for life. That's what you guys say. You have no idea. I will tell you that people kill people all the time, and the sentences range from insanity on the low end to insanity on the high end. Now, who controls where the sentence is going to fall? At the end of the day, it is the sentiment of the community that will decide. And in this case, Jeff Metcalf is at the center of that entire community. Now, let's do this. Let's suppose it is your first day of law school and I am your criminal law professor. I am going to tell you some quick facts and you tell me the sentence that you would give in this scenario if you were the jury, if you were the judge. But first, and this is important, put right now for the record what you think Karmelo should be sentenced to in the comments. Put it below. Now, here is the quiz. I want everybody to take it. Here's the first case, 4 cases. A 16-year-old in Texas, basically the same age and state of Karmelo. He gets hammered, consuming alcohol, consuming drugs. He does the whole thing. He gets behind the wheel of a vehicle. Of course, he gets into an accident. Now, here's the thing. He kills 4 people. He intentionally gets hammered and gets cooked, and then he takes 4 lives. Now, little law student of mine, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to determine how many years in prison you would give him. Ready? Go. And while you are considering your sentence, just know that in this case, the Affluenza case, if you're old enough to remember, this young man, he took 4 lives. But how many years did the judge give him? Well, the judge gave him 10 years for taking 4 lives. 10 years. But here's the kicker. It wasn't 10 years of prison. The judge gave him 10 years of straight probation. This man took 4 lives and got a straight probationary sentence. Not 1 day in prison. Did you guess it? Did you guess 0 years? Now, here is the second of 4 scenarios. A football player gets hammered just the same. He gets into his Bentley, he's an NFL player, and starts speeding. Of course, he runs over a guy, kills him dead. How many years in prison did this NFL player get for the killing? Now, the victim is gone forever. You got 5 seconds to guess. How many years? And while you are considering how many years, all you football fans know that Mike Vick, the quarterback of the great Atlanta Falcons, got 2 years in prison for dog fighting. That's 2 years in prison for dogs. How many years did this NFL player get for actually killing a man? That's right. Dante Stallworth gets hammered, gets in his car, and kills a man in the street. He gets 30 days in the county jail. No prison at all. Just 30 days in jail. Mike Vick gets 2 years in prison for dogs. Now, my little law student, you ask, well, how can that be? What happened in that case? Well, I'll tell you. Dante Stallworth showed extreme remorse. He apologized. And most importantly, he reached a financial settlement with the family. Dante went into his pocket and got the family on his side. Now let me ask you, did Karmelo Anthony's family do that? Dante slid the victim's family some money. Karmelo Anthony's family got over $500,000. Did Karmelo's mom do any of that? Did the mom even offer to pay for the funeral? Guys, I'm going to tell you, you do not know there are so many levels to criminal law. Now, 2 more quizzes to go. You're my law student and you are guessing these sentences, but there are a few of you that are listening, maybe 4 to 6, that are going to get an A in my class. You're going to be the A students. You're going to say, well, Professor Lead, I can distinguish those cases. In both of those cases, yes, the defendants did kill their victims, but it really wasn't intentional because they were under the influence and they were driving. The Karmelo Anthony case is different. It was not vehicular. It was with a knife. There was direct violence. Now, if you thought of that, then you would get an A in my class. That's a great point. So let me give you a case that is a little closer to home. Now, let's take a pause from this Karmelo Anthony insanity for a second to have a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If someone you love is on Medicare, this matters. The Department of Justice just revealed a huge fraud case against top Medicare brokers, accusing them of steering seniors to plans paying the highest kickbacks and not the best plans for you. I've seen firsthand how confusing and frustrating Medicare can be. When I faced my own cancer diagnosis, even with decades of legal experience, navigating healthcare felt impossible. That's why I'm partnering with Chapter Medicare. Chapter searches through every available Medicare plan to find the one truly tailored to your doctor's prescription and budget, completely unbiased and free. On average, seniors who worked with Chapter saved over $1,100 a year. So if you want straightforward, unbiased help, call Chapter right now at 572-243-0163 or visit askchapter.org/lead. It's quick, it's free, and it could save you hundreds. The number's right here on the screen, 572-243-0163. Give yourself peace of mind today. Now, let's get back to this Karmelo Anthony dumpster fire. A guy gets mad at his wife, and rightly so. He thinks that she's cheating on him. He goes and loads up his shotgun. He goes outside where she's standing. Now, she's unarmed and she's recording him on her phone. He cocks the shotgun and points it directly at her teeth. He says, all right, goodbye. You are going to meet Jesus. And then he blows her away. She was unarmed and in Texas. Do you know who else was unarmed? Do you know who else was in Texas? That's right, Anthony Metcalf, Karmelo's victim. Now, the jury in the case with the husband gave that man just 10 years in prison, and he is eligible for parole after only 5 years. Think about it, 5 years in prison for a straight up killing. I am positive that every single one of you would have said, lock him up for life, lock him up forever. She's a woman, she was unarmed, she didn't even hit him. And he only got 10 years with maybe 5 years to serve. Now you ask, well, Professor Lead, why so little time? Well, the defense team in that case did a great job of humanizing the husband, humanizing the killer, and getting the jury on his side. The jury didn't hate the killer. In Karmelo's case, do you think the jury would hate Karmelo if Austin's father, Jeff, pleaded with the jury for mercy, pleaded with the jury for grace, is seen praying and reconciling and crying with the Karmelo family? Everyone in that courtroom would be crying, listening to Jeff's victim impact statement. The judge would be crying, the bailiffs would be crying, the attorneys would be crying, the jury. Believe me, everyone in that courthouse would have their eyes full of tears. At the end of the day, we are all human. Karmelo would have been spared. He would have not gotten a lot of time. You can absolutely get a judge and jury on your side. You just have to know how to do it. Now, and this is the last case, and this is for all of my A students. Let's go back to the vehicular homicide cases. You think that you can get off easy by killing somebody with your car, remember? Remember when you thought, oh, oh, well, it's because the guy who killed 4 people was driving. That's why he got 0 years in prison. Okay, that guy killed 4 people. What about a guy that killed 6 people in his car at a parade? You've got 5 seconds to consider how many years this guy would get for killing 6 people. If the first guy got 0 years in prison for killing 4 people, how many years in prison did this guy get for killing 6 people? All right, you got your answer? Don't you know that this guy got 1,000 years? 1,000. They calculated it out to like 1,067 years. He got 6 life sentences and an additional 760 years for the people that he hurt with his car. Now, how do you go from 0 to 1,000? Well, this guy got every single person in the community to hate him. Darrell Brooks never apologized to any of the family members and was hostile to everyone in the courthouse during his court case. The judge ended up blasting him. So now, my law student, you can see the importance of getting the families, getting the community on your side. It can be the difference between 0 years and 1,000 years. Is the Karmelo family doing that? Is the Karmelo family getting the Austin Metcalf family on their side by kicking out Austin's father at the press conference? It's insanity how they are handling the Karmelo case, and Karmelo will pay the price. Now, people have asked, they said, well, Lee, if you represented the Karmelo family, how would you have handled it if Jeff Metcalf showed up at the press conference? Guys, there are so many ways that this press conference could have been used to benefit not only Karmelo, but both families' entire well-being. I would have already talked to Karmelo's family about how important Jeff is to the entire case. Hopefully, the Karmelo family would have already communicated with Jeff numerous times, expressing remorse, expressing sorrow, offering apologies for the incident. And if Jeff shows up at that press conference, guess what? We are not having a Karmelo press conference anymore. We are having a joint press conference. And guess what else? Jeff Metcalf gets the microphone first. He gets the spotlight. We stand behind him while he talks. He gets the first words and he can talk for as long as he wants. Now, a few of you might say, well, what happens if he goes off the rails? What happens if he starts saying bad things about Karmelo? Well, good. Let him say it. He's not saying anything that we all haven't felt. And you know what we do? We stand there behind him and we take it. We take our loss with grace and patience and understanding. This man just lost a son. We are taking all of his heat. We know that the jury is going to see that too. The jury is going to be watching our demeanor while this man is up there blazing us. And after he's finished, we get on the microphone. What do? We express our understanding of his words. We express how justified he is in feeling everything that he feels. All parents can understand where this man is coming from. We thank him for his strength to join us. We tell everyone that we welcome this and all future opportunities to listen to Jeff. We express remorse at the circumstances again, and we apologize for the circumstances again. And you know what we do then? We shut up. We end the press conference right there. We don't go on to put the blame on racist white people. We don't go on to keep claiming self-defense. We don't need to argue self-defense at the press conference. The attorneys, if they need to, can argue that in court. Blaming white people and screaming self-defense gets us nowhere. We have to be intelligent for once in our lives. We end the press conference on the best note possible. The jury is going to see it. If the press conference goes off the rails, it's not going to hurt us because, again, everyone can understand where Jeff is coming from. And Jeff is always free to say those things anyway, inside the press conference or out. So we take the risk. But you know what? Because of what Jeff expressed in the past, and because of the man that Jeff Metcalf is, I bet that press conference would not have gone off the rails. I would bet that it would have been beautiful. And like Jeff said, we would have prayed together and sought reconciliation together. And that would have been the start of getting so many years off Karmelo's prison sentence. So what needs to happen going forward? If the family hired me, the lead, to consult with them on this case, here is what I would tell them. First, and this is number one, fire the baby shaking minister of justice. Fire that man immediately and publicly. Let everyone know that he is no longer on the team. We've got attorneys now. We've got the lead consulting now. We definitely don't need baby shaking convicted felons representing us. Second, I would appoint Jeff, the father, to choose a new spokesman. I'd tell him to think of someone like a retired pastor, a real pastor, or a retired judge with impeccable standing. We are giving Jeff the control of this because Jeff is the person who can do the most to help Karmelo and to heal the community. Third, I would tell the family, Karmelo Anthony's family, to cut a check to Jeff immediately for restitution of the funeral. Then give him some more money for counseling, maybe some more money for a memorial. I'm thinking at least $50,000. And here's the thing, we do it quietly. We don't tell a soul. It'll show Jeff our commitment, and maybe Jeff will mention it to the community later on. But even if he doesn't, fine. We still give him the money privately, and we give it to him right now, 24 hours. Then I would also set up a new GoFundMe, and I would add Jeff as a co-trustee to that. The new GoFundMe would be for a scholarship fund in Austin's name. And we, the Karmelo family, make the first contribution. I'm thinking maybe another $50,000. Now, the Karmelo family has already collected $500,000, and some of that's going to be used on the lawyers, even though apparently Karmelo applied for a free lawyer, but we'll talk about that in another video. So the family can afford to give $100,000 to the man who can help their son the most. It's an investment in Karmelo and towards communal reconciliation. Guys, as you can see, there is so much that goes into a criminal case, and Karmelo's mother is so ignorant in hiring a baby shaking minister of justice than hiring someone with true knowledge and experience and wisdom. Do you think that it's possible for Karmelo's mom to turn this around and get Jeff on her side, on Karmelo's side? Or do you think that it's just too late? Let me know in the comments below.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!